researched. Lair is down and up and running. Ventral Sacs and Penumbra's Carapace being researched right now. I really like this from Cool. He's getting Overlord speed and Overlord drop research, and he's gonna try to, I assume he's gonna try to drop Speedlings and Banelings into the enemy Terran base. This is a really good way to abuse the fact that it's impossible, nearly impossible, to run in with Banelings and Speedlings, but if you can drop them with Overlords, that makes them so much more effective against the Terran choke points. So we'll see if that works out for Cool or not. He's also getting a Spire as well as Evo Chambers for upgrades. Here comes STC though with 2 Hellions. There's quite a few drones here to roast up. Is Cool going to be able to pull his drones away in time? He is going to get his attention back on those drones and pull some of them away, but a lot of the drones are grouped up for the Hellions. It looks like the Roaches though are going to push them back. Nice play from Cool, keeping his drones alive. He didn't really lose too many, and it looks like another scouting overlord running in here. There's a lot of barracks going down right here, and all these Marines, when they start pumping out from these reactor cores, are going to be so fragile to the Banelings. So look for Cool to really abuse the Baneling versus Marine tactics. So I think that that's going to be really deadly as the game continues to progress. We also have siege tanks coming out, quite a few siege tanks on the ground for STC, getting a starport as well. Look for him to get a couple of dropships to really help heal and mobilize his biomech on the ground. And I really think that these siege tanks are going to help a lot for STC. All that Cool has to get is some Mutalisks. Muta Baneling right now would be a prime strategy against this biomech push that STC is pushing out here. He's also getting another command center at the gold, and I think this push out here is just to help him secure this gold. He's not going to try to push into the Zerg main. He's going to continue to keep the Hellion harass up, but he really wants to secure this gold expansion, and notice how he's pulling all of his forces back to make sure that that stays up and running. 2 Hellions trying to run in here to the natural, or to the third base. The Hellions are going to get taken out, and I really want to take a look at the income tab. My goodness, 13 minutes into the game, the Zerg player Cool is at 66 harvesters and the Terran player is at 54. That is almost unheard of for any player to be macroing so hard right now. That is insane how much resources these players are able to accumulate only 13 minutes into this game. The Zerg player at 2,000 minerals per minute and the Terran player at 1,300, so just a little bit less, and he's trying to secure that gold to make up for that gap. Now, I really want to see some drop action, and it looks like we do have some Banelings loaded up into these overlords. So basically these are just doomsday drop carriers. They're gonna drop Banelings onto the Marine and tanks. This could be very deadly for STC, who's at 114 supply, Cool at 158. He's really got that Zerg macro kicking in right here, and the overlords are flying in, and I think STC, well aware of the threat from the air, is going to run his Marines and biomech back. He does not want to allow those Banelings to drop, and more siege tanks sieging up at the gold, going to allow the Terran player to get a little bit of positioning, but the overlords dropping those Banelings onto the Marines. Great play, more Banelings and Roaches pushing forward, and I think STC's position has been compromised, but no, he has 2 tanks continuing to shell the Zerg player from the high ground above at the gold, and a planetary fortress morphing it as well. I really like the micro from both these players, and a dropship picking up the tank to keep it alive. Great play from both of these players. The Banelings dropping out of those overlords really helped to make sure that the Banelings would hit the biomech and really whittle it down. I'm surprised that the centrifugal hooks hasn't been researched yet, but overlord dropping Banelings is just as effective as centrifugal hooks. It requires a little bit more APM, but I think it might even be a little faster, and of course the Banelings don't have to be blocked by units on the ground. 76 harvesters right now for the Zerg player. That is just absolutely insane, and it looks like Cool is going to load up 5 overlords worth of Roaches, Lings. I don't see any Banelings in here, even a couple of Hydras even, and it looks like Cool is going to drop right into the main base of STC. STC sieging up a couple of his tanks, but these tanks are going to get taken out by the Roaches and the Hydras, and meanwhile STC dropping off his own paratroopers, his own biomech back into his main base to ward off the Zerg pressure, and Cool going to load up and run away yet again. I really like the paratrooper play from both of these players, utilizing as much of their mobility from dropships and overlords as humanly possible, and abusing the terrain as much as they possibly can, dropping into the main, counter dropping into the main to prevent any loss of harvesters and the factories. And look at this, we have a Nidus network being morphed in for the Zerg player Cool. This Nidus network is going to help immensely when it comes to mobility, Zerg mobility. He won't have to drop as much anymore. He can just morph in Nidus worms wherever he pleases. I also want to call attention to the fact that Cool is securing a 4th and a 5th base right now, and meanwhile STC is securing his own 4th expansion. So really a lot of macro play from both these players. 75 harvesters, 71 harvesters. The income is just staggering for both of these players right now. And a nice composition, a nice unit mix for the Zerg player. Roaches, Hydras, Speedlings, Banelings, and Overlords we have. Missile attacks and Carapace level 2 being researched. Meanwhile, it looks like some mech units are pushing forward to the gold expansion, but no hatchery there to really shell. And here's the one advantage for the Terran player. He can set up siege tanks here, he can set up siege tanks here and here, and still be able to shell the gold expansion of the Zerg player when Cool decides to grab that. But it looks like we have the Roaches and Hydras running in here. The tanks are just going to make mincemeat of these Hydralists. I'm not sure if I like Cool's positioning, but he's going to drop Banelings right into the biomech above, and it is going to whittle down a lot of those tanks and Marines and allow the Roach and Hydra to push forward. Those Banelings there just saved the day for Cool and allowed him to push forward and really dominate the Terran player. I think that STC, believe it or not, might be in a bad position here. The Zerg player is at 5 running bases. He just needs one more saturated base to be at 5 full. He's at 85 drones. That is absolutely insane. STC here is in a lot of trouble. He's trying to put a planetary fortress at this cross section, at this roads. These are nice places to put fortresses, but I just don't know what STC can do. The Zerg player here is maxed 199 supply, under 200, and he's got Muta Baneling now going on the field. He's also got the Nidus Swarm morphing in at the northern position. Roaches and Hydras running in single file to take out this planetary fortress. No, I think they're going to run straight by. Meanwhile, Marines dropping off into the 6th base right here, but the Broodlings and Lings going to ward that away. Meanwhile, Roaches and Hydras running in from the Nidus network to push forward, and I think this could be GG for STC. Where are his forces? He's at 148. He's trying to run back to defend his front door, but I don't think it's going to work. Great play from Cool, abusing Nidus Network, abusing Overlord drop, and really showing how to play ZVT with mass harass style and mass econ at the same time. 82 harvesters, ladies and gentlemen. I think SCC is going to finally be able to hold off this frontal attack. It's going to be close. No, he calls GG. Everyone leaves the game. But what an incredible battle, and it looks like the Mutas and Lings even ran into the gold expansion to do some harass right there as well. So I really like that SCV's attacking the Nidus Network. I really like that ZVT play. That is really how to play mass harass, mass abuse, and dropping everywhere, and of course expanding at the same time. So Cool versus STC, and Cool takes a win over the Terran player. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that broadcast, and of course we have the MLG main event coming up in a couple of days at Raleigh, North Carolina. So make sure you guys stay tuned for that. I'll have more info and a video hopefully coming up soon, and of course check out StarcraftArena.net. HD signing out.